Jay Slater's mom, from unfamiliarity to controversy. Jay Slater's mother, like many others, had lived a life mostly uninvolved with the rapid advancements of online platforms that have become integral to modern society. Platforms like GoFundMe, for instance, where people raised funds for various causes, emergencies, or personal projects, were things she had never even heard of. In the fast-paced digital world, where viral fundraisers frequently emerge, it's possible to miss major trends if you're not plugged into that ecosystem. But little did she know, her introduction to GoFundMe would come in the most intense and shocking manner imaginable. Not through a heartwarming community effort, but through waves of controversy, backlash, and online abuse. The catalyst? A fundraiser tied to her son, Jay Slater, that amassed a staggering £72,000. What could have been a moment of relief and gratitude quickly turned into a source of anguish as her name became a target of online abuse. The rise of online fundraising. To understand the full weight of this situation, it's important to recognize the power and reach of platforms like GoFundMe. For years, individuals and families have turned to the internet as a way to crowdfund support during times of need. Medical emergencies, community-driven initiatives, and personal struggles have all been showcased on platforms like GoFundMe, with the hope that sympathetic individuals would contribute to lighten the load. In many cases, these fundraisers lead to heartwarming results, with communities rallying around a cause, driven by compassion. However, the very nature of online fundraising, where stories can be exaggerated, misunderstood, or even manipulated, has given rise to suspicion, mistrust, and sometimes cruelty. The anonymity of the internet allows people to voice harsh opinions without consequence, often amplifying negativity and leading to harmful actions, like trolling or online abuse. For Jay Slater's mother, who had no prior experience with GoFundMe, this massive cultural force was foreign. She was not someone accustomed to the intricacies of online fundraising. When the £72,000 was raised, she likely viewed it as a blessing, not fully anticipating the challenges that would come. The backlash. A digital mob. The origin of the backlash against Jay Slater's mom remains somewhat hazy, but there are several factors that could have contributed to the situation spiraling out of control. Public fundraisers are often subject to scrutiny. People wonder if the money is being used appropriately or if the story behind the fundraiser is as true as it appears. This can lead to accusations of fraud, dishonesty, or simply misunderstandings. With £72,000 on the line, the amount was high enough to attract attention, including from those who are skeptical or even envious of such a large sum being donated. This kind of attention can quickly spiral into rumors, with people on the internet forming quick judgments, often based on little more than hearsay or incomplete information. It's possible that the original GoFundMe page or the story behind it sparked some controversy, perhaps due to questions about how the money would be used or because of the circumstances surrounding the need for the funds. Regardless of the cause, Jay Slater's mother found herself at the center of an online storm, one that she was unprepared to handle. In today's interconnected world, online abuse can be relentless. Once someone becomes the target of a digital mob, the attacks can feel constant and overwhelming. Abusers hiding behind the anonymity of the internet often feel emboldened to say things they would never express face-to-face. The abuse is not just verbal, it often extends to threats, harassment, and even attempts to damage someone's reputation or personal life. For Jay Slater's mom, who had no previous involvement in the online fundraising space, this would have been a shocking, disorienting experience. Overnight, she found herself on the receiving end of a digital tidal wave of anger and hatred. The emotional toll of online abuse. Online abuse is not something to be taken lightly. While it might seem like just words on a screen, the impact can be severe and long-lasting. Victims of online harassment often report feelings of anxiety, depression, and isolation. When the abuse becomes pervasive, it can feel like there's no escape, especially when it bleeds into real life, with abusers finding personal information and using it to cause further harm. For a woman who had never even heard of GoFundMe, being thrust into the center of a controversy that she likely never expected must have been emotionally devastating. The joy of receiving such a large amount of money would have been quickly replaced by confusion, anger, and fear. Suddenly, she was being accused, questioned, and harassed for something she may have had little control over. The anonymity of the internet can often make the attacks feel impersonal, but when they are directed at you, they become deeply personal. The feeling of being constantly judged, of having every action scrutinized and questioned, is exhausting. In many cases, victims of online abuse withdraw from social life, unable to cope with the pressure of constant negativity. It's a heavy emotional burden to bear, and it can be especially difficult when the victim has no prior experience in dealing with online communities or platforms. Where does the responsibility lie? In situations like this, one has to question where the responsibility lies. Is it the platform's duty to protect individuals from abuse? Should GoFundMe, as a company, step in to moderate comments or shield those running campaigns from such vitriol? While GoFundMe does have policies in place to ensure that campaigns are legitimate and that the funds are used as intended, it's difficult for any platform to fully control the behavior of its users. The open nature of the internet means that bad actors will always find ways to harass, bully, or attack others, often slipping through the cracks of moderation efforts. On the other hand, there is also a question of the responsibility of the online community itself. In the age of cancel culture, snap judgments, and instant outrage, it's easy for people to join in on the abuse without fully understanding the situation. The rush to judgment can cause immense harm, not only to the individuals directly involved but also to their families and communities. For Jay Slater's mom, it seems that she has become a victim of this kind of mob mentality. Without fully understanding the intricacies of the fundraiser, the abuse hurled her way has likely been fueled by a mix of misinformation, suspicion, and a culture that thrives on outrage. Moving forward, Jay Slater's mother's experience is a sobering reminder of the darker side of the digital world we live in. The internet, for all its conveniences and opportunities, can also be a breeding ground for hate, misunderstanding, and cruelty. As she navigates this storm of online abuse, it's important to recognize the human toll that these situations take. Behind every screen, there is a person, and in this case, it's a woman who had never even heard of the platform that has now upended her life. Hopefully, with time and support, she will be able to rise above the negativity and reclaim a sense of peace. And perhaps, as a society, we can take this as a moment to reflect on how we treat others online and the impact of our words, even when they're spoken in the vast and seemingly impersonal space of the internet.